So there's a small YouTube channel named Nikocado Avocado, and he recently just pulled an Aizen. Bro came straight out of an anime with his master plan that just keeps having different layers and plot twists to it, kind of like a Darman video, but it's actually funny. There's quite a bit to talk about, and some of my friends told me to talk about the big old Nikocado situation, so here I am, I guess. I have a few opinions I'm certain I'll see hate comments for, but I don't really care about that for now. Anyways, I'll be covering a little bit of his monologue at the beginning and then throw a couple other opinions out there, so let's begin.
2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead. This has been the greatest social experiment for my entire life. It's alluring, it's compelling, it's gripping to observe all these unwell, disoriented beings roam the internet in search of stories.
Nick, this is pretty cringe. Please stop. The Panda Mask has everyone concerned because that's a mask he wore whenever he was featured in Stephanie's vids, and now people are concerned. I think that his entire villain monologue was planned in order to foreshadow that he will proudly be restarting beef with Stephanie, because if they broke up, why else would he keep the mask to begin with? He's also known for being very clingy, so I wouldn't really put it past him either. This mask also shows how mentally unwell he is, because last time I checked, people don't normally parade about abuse and manipulating allegations by wearing something to openly mock her. This reminds me of the whole Onision anime arc the internet had back in the day, where basically Onision was a real piece of doggy doo-doo to multiple people if I remember correctly. And that's a whole another can of worms that I'd rather keep closed. I don't really know too much about the Onision incident because I didn't actually have access to the internet back in the day when Onision was running rampant like a dog off the leash. But anyways, people seem to completely forget that Nikocado Avocado was allegedly an abuser that hurt a lot of people in the mukbang space. But putting all that aside, his villain monologue is pretty cringe. I know this plays into his character that he's built up over the years, but I kind of feel like Nick is to some extent mentally unwell and someone needs to get him a full psychic evaluation immediately, because the way he talks about people kind of makes him seem like he has a god complex just because he was able to exploit part of the internet and their curiosity to watch a man quite literally eat himself to death. But damn, Grippers goes crazy though.
So I am the villain, because I've made myself one. And you will continue to consume these stories about me, year after year after year, for as long as I tell the internet that I am the villain. Stories that permeate and linger and infect the minds of the ants, influence the ants, brainwash the ants. You are the ants.
I think we all know that this is kind of cringe, but it also plays into the character that he's built up over the years. His whole act is that he's been manipulating everyone and he is the ultimate deity that warps everyone's reality through his content, brainwashing the masses with his weird antics and cringe videos. So let's just play around with this little idea real quick. Let's just, jump around and explore reality and explore his winter wonderland or whatever. How do you think that your content is brainwashing people? You see that they get too involved and too immersed in your story and their story ends up merging with yours somehow, kind of like you're the Tengen merger from Jujutsu Kaisen. That's a parasocial relationship that you're describing there, but surprise, surprise, that's the whole point of entertainment. It's an escape from reality for people to de-stress, and one way humans can de-stress is by looking at other people do people things. Whether you get entertained by playing video games or watching a guy eat enough food to feed Africa. I'm talking about you, but anyways, parasocial relationships are basically just like the point where there is a point of return if you do get into a parasocial relationship, but it's just you being online for an unhealthy amount of time, like that just really doesn't make sense. Like, what are you even experimenting with? You're not like some sort of evil scientist or anything, you're just some guy on the internet. I zoomed into Nick's eyes, and they kind of look like he has a Google Doc pulled up because, you know, his pupils are a little bit dilated, so you can see a little bit more. So let's start with that first. Having a Google Doc means he scripted it, right? And why would you script something like this? People who know about the Stephanie Sue situation can easily label you as a legitimate psychopath, but what if he didn't script it? Then that just makes him a sociopath. He impulsively did this, and every word he conjured up comes from a deep pit of evil that is in his mind. What a real piece of crap to just parade about abuse allegations and to just go around going like, yeah, this is not the end, I'm the big bad, like, seriously, man, that's really fucked up. Like, I don't even know how to describe it.
And boring and irrelevant. People are the most messed up creatures on the entire planet. And yet I've still managed to stay 2 steps ahead of everyone. The joke's on you.
Dude, you're clearly not in the right state of mind. If humans are the most vile creatures, what does that make you then? If people are the most evil creatures, why are you the villain? Is everyone else not a villain as well? But let's just say you're the worst of them all. You're like the big bad of the bunch. You are the Lex Luthor to our Superman. You're one of the worst villains ever. You're just evil for the sake of being evil. Even Lex Luthor had a motive. You just don't have any motive. You're just lame. You're just an edgy guy who just wants to look cool to everyone because you haven't socialized with anyone in years because you couldn't go outside that often to talk to real people who are caring enough to actually tell you to stop eating yourself to death. What even was the social experiment? To see the reactions of other people? No shit. People are obviously gonna egg you on. That's the community you garnered. That's like the way you created content. And that was the only talent you had, just eating gargantuan, ludicrous amounts of food. It's not representative of the entire internet. That's just your community specifically. That's not everyone else's community. I don't see anyone else telling, I don't know, like, frigging Keemstar to be eating himself to death. Like, seriously, I don't understand your whole experiment here. It just looks really stupid. And that's the end of his villain monologue. He does some really weird stuff with his parrot, like kissing it, and then eats a huge plate of noodles, and that's all I'll really go over for the actual video. But I do have a few closing words and some speculation. Now, the first thing I want to give my opinion on is whether or not he pre-recorded his videos. And I would have to say yes, I'm more inclined into believing that he never pre-recorded his videos, or at least most of them. There's like one TikTok I'm pretty sure he pre-recorded, and it probably came to him in like a fever dream after he was done with his surgery or his drug routine or whatever. Because if he did, why wouldn't he post for 7 months? If he had this whole mastermind plan, how did he run short on videos? That part just makes no sense. But let's just say he planned that part. He didn't post for 7 months because he wanted to build up suspense for his channel. And when the big reveal comes, people get jump scared. Oh my god, Nikocado Avocado, but he's skinny for once. For all the people saying, oh, he posted TikToks, he posted like he took like, what, a 5-month long break or something like that. I don't know. But his entire brand is doing mukbangs, and most of his following is actually on YouTube. Why not post on YouTube? You make significantly more money, and sure, TikTok is a much better place since, you know, it's a cesspool of brain rot, and you're more likely to get an audience who just likes watching people eat for some reason, which I never really understood TikTok, but that's a video for another time. There's just more people on YouTube. Like, there's factually more people. Like, apparently there's like, what, 2.5 billion on YouTube and only 1 billion on TikTok. So they have 2.5k more people on there. That just really doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm more inclined to believe that he was taking some sort of drug or, you know, taking a surgery, which leads me to my next point. I don't think that he lost weight by working out. If my assumption is true and he never pre-recorded his videos, then that means he lost all the weight in a 7-month period. The most weight a human can ever lose per month is 8 pounds or 56 every 7 months. He said he lost 250 pounds? And I think that 250 is a little, just a little bit larger than 56. But you do the math yourself. Anyways, let's just say that he lost 10 pounds in a month, and he somehow pre-recorded his videos up to 2 years in advance, and this mastermind just somehow found a way to pre-record 2 years of content in advance, which is pretty fucking wild. That still doesn't account for the final 10 pounds. And sure, normally it would be fine and dandy and all in like a statistics class because that's pretty close. But remember that I'm bumping up the numbers a little bit. So the amount of weight he would be losing would like, accumulate, and like his weight debt, quote unquote, would kind of, be soaring at this point. That means he must have accelerated his weight loss in some way. And zooming into his face, his eyebrow hairs are a little bit thin, and hair loss is a sign of excessive weight loss, which means that he either has like some sort of genetic condition, or he took weight loss surgery or using drugs like Ozempic. But I'm not sure if Ozempic is the thing. Ozempic is meant for weight loss, and significant amounts of weight loss has been contributed to, hair thinning. But I'm not a doctor. I'm just some stupid guy with a computer and Google and too much access to the internet. So at the end of the day, who knows? I could be wrong. This guy could have actually just been the villain mastermind, and he could have pre-recorded videos 2 years in advance. He found some sort of secret formula in losing triple-digit weights all in like the span of, a couple months. But I don't know. So yeah, overall, I don't think that he actually lost weight naturally. I think that he did it artificially, either through surgery or through, drugs. I'm not really sure about the specific drug. I don't know if he actually used Ozempic or not. I'm not really too familiar with the symptoms of those. But I'm also really just concerned for Stephanie here, because I'm gonna be honest, I think that Nikocado is gonna start more beef with Stephanie, and I think that anything he says going forward about Stephanie, or making allegations about anyone in the mukbang space in general, I think that people should, go through that with a fine-tooth comb. I think that people should really dig into any of the words he says. I don't think people should believe him anymore. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, and bye.